Hi, this is Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in Hunter Creek. I just came back from Oliver in the Okanagan. I left there about 3-4 days ago looking for work. I put in all kinds of applications, not a bite. And anyway, my sister phoned on Vancouver Island, and I'm going back there to finish up the floor. The wood came in, so that's where I'm at. Today I'm going to share a little more on the 3 steps that you can take to be off grid. That means all your power, all your heating needs, your cooking needs, and all this is absolutely possible. But it's going to take a little bit of working out. And you guys need to research what's called the GEET, G-E-E-T fuel technology, okay? GEET fuel technology by Paul Pantone. He died about a year or so ago. The government under the Obama administration put him in jail and tried to kill him in jail. Anyway, there was lots, this got out to people that were working on the GEET system, and they got him out. Well, they tried to kill him because he had a technology that could absolutely make us energy independent, and it needs to be tweaked. It needs to be merged to make a super hybrid system. But check it out. Check out the GEET fuel processor by Paul Pantone, and just a simple illustration. If you take a 1-gallon gas can, or say a 5-gallon plastic pail, right? You put a lid on it. You put in a couple inches of gasoline and you bubble air through it. What happens is that produces a vaporized fuel that's processed through the GEET fuel processor that gives you anywhere from 300% and up, a minimal of 300% efficiency as far as fuel mileage and horsepower. When GEET fuel is an implosion fuel, and it implodes, when it ignites, it actually implodes. It doesn't explode, and that's why it's so efficient. But as far as efficiency for vehicles, when Paul Pantone got out, he went over to France. He was ticked off at the States. He went over to France, and France is running a lot of their infrastructure off of his technology. Buses, trucks, helicopters, you name it. It works. It's the best fuel going. And so you need to check it out. It's at least 300% effective. You can actually take bunker crude. He's taken bunker crude and is able to transmute it into a clean burning fuel that has absolutely no CO2 emissions. The emissions are identical to that of hydrogen, right? And we're going to need this with the oil tankers being sunk in the port of Hormuz. We're eventually going to see, I think we're going to see gas go up to $2 a liter here in Canada pretty soon because of that. But the Trump administration is adamant, is not allowing any oil to be exported out of Iran. So eventually we're going to see a war with Iran, right? And I've heard others talk about the rise of, there's going to be a rise, like when the embargo happens in Iran, it's going to cause oil to escalate. I've heard as high as $200 a barrel, oil $68 a barrel now. And I know that they're going to use this crisis, this fabricated crisis, to drive inflation 2 to 3 times what it is right now. In other words, you're going to be paying 2 to 3 times more for your food, for your rent, for everything else. We're talking about hyperinflation, right? But anyway, with the GEET technology, I've been thinking about this for the last few days or so. My own specs was that I was going to try to develop a plasma heat source, which is 5,000, 7,000 degrees. But to gasify waste like plastic, wood chips, wood pellets, tires, garbage, household garbage, septic waste, you don't need high-end heat. You don't need heat in the thousands of degrees. Just 800 degrees would work. So the GEAT fuel technology produces a flame that's around 24 to 2,500 degrees. No emissions, just oxygen and oxygen enriched air with moisture that you get from a hydrogen burn, right? And so this could be used for gasification. You could actually have a pot. You could have a fire pipe burning, converting the waste into biofuel, where you can make your own diesel. You don't need a high-end heat source. This would work for it. And but there is one thing you would have to do to make it effective, is that you want to merge it with the Joe pipe technology that the Lord gave to me in 2008. A friend of mine that I taught 6 years ago, he ran with it. He went to the University of Victoria. They gave him a grant for $100 and some thousand, and he advanced the technology. He went in one direction with it. You can go many directions with it. And now he's got over a dozen world patents. I should have been the multi-millionaire, right? He's not using it for God's glory. I'm not going to say any more about it. But he's proven out, as far as a hot water on-demand system using propane, that, and I've already knew this even before he came up with the numbers, that the Joe pipe is 3 times more effective than the best hot water heating systems in the world. So you combine that with the GEAT fuel. If I use GEAT gas in the Joe pipe, GEAT gas will produce at least 300% greater efficiency as far as fuel and heat and power. And if you merge that with the Joe pipe, use that as a proprietary fuel, you're going to double and triple. So you can multiply, just adding the two together, you're going to get an increase, bottom line, of at least 500%. In other words, you can take fuel, you can extend it 500% as far as a heat source, affordable heat source for converting waste into garbage. And I think this should be the first step. I'm getting this out on YouTube, but the Why God website's going to carry it. Miranda Devon's been so kind to promote some of the work that God has given me. But folks, we're coming into a time of hyperinflation, and I can't do this alone. I know that God has people out there that has the finances in the shops to be able to, the first step would be to get a GEAT fuel processor. There's people that make them, or build one yourself, right? And use it to make the GEAT gas, and then I'm going to have to kind of play with it to see how it's going to perform with the Joe pipe, because the Joe pipe is a implosion generator. And right now I'm just using propane, which is not an implosion fuel. Like an implosion fuel has a very, very high end flame velocity, and the faster the velocity, the more effective the Joe pipe is at creating anomalous reactions. I've seen fire turn into electricity that you could see. I've seen incredible things. But we need to take this first step, and I need a shop. The Lord needs to open up a shop and the finances, and I just need a few key people to understand the GEAT fuel processor, build one, and take the GEAT gas, and begin to experiment with it. And from there, you would have an adequate heat source where you could gasify waste into fuel for 20% of the conventional cost. And there's always garbage around. And the time we're going into, we're going to see gas go to $20 a gallon, 4 and 5 $8 a liter when the oil goes through the roof, per barrel. So we need to get on this, because I tell you, the time is coming where a lot of people are gonna feel the pinch. A lot of people won't be able to afford food or rent, and we're gonna have to come together. But we need to start here. So I'm asking for those of you out there check out the Geet fuel processor. There's lots of information on YouTube. A lot of it has been taken off, but you're just going to have to do your research. The inventor's name is Paul Pantone, Pantone, and God gave him it, but the the powers to be shut him down and try to kill him. And so we need to take that step. And once you can actually use the Geet gas and the Joe pipe as a proprietary fuel to create a very affordable heat source, then you can start taking all your different waste and breaking it down into biodiesel. All right? And the next step, then you'll be ready for the next step. The next step would be to merge the Joe pipe technology with the Geet fuel processor to make a stand-alone system, because the Geet fuel processor does need some kind of combustion engine to make it work, because the engine supplies the exhaust heat and the vacuum source. So you would have to make some kind of mechanical vacuum source. But the hotter the heat, the greater the efficiency, the more yield of Geet gas that you can do. And Geet gas operates on the principle, if you have at least 10% carbon within your hydrocarbon mix, you can actually emulsify 10% fuel with 90% water, and that's where you get your gains. But folks, we need to get on this. I'm just releasing this now, but I'm going to need the help of the body, right, to get this off the ground, and we really need to get on it. So do your research on the Geet fuel processor by Pantone. Myself, I have hundreds of videos on YouTube. You just type in Joe pipe, and you'll get an idea of what it can do, and just in the normal operational sense. And actually using the Joe pipe combined with the Geet gas as a proprietary fuel, you'll have the best heat systems in the world, par none, as far as heating homes, standalone heaters. You'll be able to design a whole catalog of applications. All right, I'm going to leave it off here. I don't want this to go too long. I'm on my way to Vancouver Island. Get back to me at my email, remnant prepper, like remnant and prepper, at gmail.com. And my contact information and my cell information is, I'll put it up on the YouTube as soon as I'm able to use my laptop. But folks, we need to get on this, because we're going to see things skyrocket. We're going to need an affordable heat source to start growing food, and we need. If we wait down the line, it's just going to be too late. We're not going to be ready, right? So we need to start on it. This is Joshua Taylor, Donald E. Taylor. Joshua is the name that the Lord's given to me many years ago, and it kind of stuck. And it's kind of my calling. I know God's raised me up to bring His people into the rest, into the kingdom. And, we need to rise up, enter into that wilderness experience of faith where there is all provision, right? Because we have to separate from the system, from the religious Babylon, and also from the system of man, because a time is coming when the grid goes down, everyone who's caught in the system is going to go down with it. So let's get on board, and let's do what we can to be like Noah. Noah was warned. He was given a way of escape. He was shown what to do, and he was counted worthy because he believed God and he obeyed God, and follow this mandate. All right, going to end it here.